Good morning. Add to cart now. Is it familiar to you? Now class, have you ever got to a point where you make a mindless spending just because of the positive reviews you've read about the product? Welcome to Unit 6, Persuasion in Writing. You encounter persuasive writing in your everyday life through television commercials, magazine ads, and marketing brochures. All throughout the unit, we will learn what makes persuasion a powerful tool in writing and how do we effectively persuade our audience or readers. So it is said that writing a persuasive essay is like being a lawyer arguing a case before a jury. So the writer takes a stand on an issue either for or against, and builds the strongest possible argument to win over the reader. Let's proceed to Lesson 1, Persuasive Writing. Our learning competency is to distinguish between and among patterns of development in writing across disciplines. And our objectives are to recognize the vocabulary commonly used in persuasive writing and determine and apply the different techniques in persuasive writing. Persuasive writing is a feature of modern life, found in advertising, when you read newspaper editorials, blogs, and political speeches. So the main purpose is not just to inform, but to persuade or convince an audience to think or act a certain way. So think about this. How should we assert our beliefs and ideas in writing? And how do we convince other people to believe our point of view? And where do we commonly read persuasive articles? And what are the words that we should use in order to assert our ideas? So those questions will be answered at the end of the unit. What is really a persuasive writing? What is its definition? So it intends to convince readers to believe in an idea and to do an action. The keywords here are to convince and to do an action. Convincing the reader at any cost is a common form of persuasion in an editorial. An editorial is a persuasive column that appears regularly in most newspapers. In an editorial, the writer gives his or her opinion about a certain issue. Someone like Michael Tan of Inquirer. So many writings such as critics, reviews, reaction papers, editorials, proposals, advertisements, and brochures use different ways of persuasion to influence the readers. So here are the common words and phrases we can use in writing a persuasive text. So when answering the opposition, we can use the phrases and words like some may say, but or however, nevertheless, and on the other hand. Say for example, some may say that they don't have any symptoms of the virus. However, people without any symptoms or asymptomatic still have and can spread the coronavirus. So that is an example of answering the opposition. So when listing evidences, we can use the words like first, second, third, another, or next, and finally. While in drawing conclusions means to finally to sum up and is used to introduce some final comments at the end of a text. We can use words like therefore, thus, hence, and consequently. So if the topic is all about coronavirus, we can say in the conclusion, therefore, we should take heed on the government's plea to stay at home, wash properly, and drink vitamins. Here are the 3 techniques used in persuasive writing. So first is presenting a strong evidence. The second one is concrete, relevant, and reasonable examples. And the last one is accurate, current, and balanced information. So what makes an evidence reliable and believable? So to have a reliable and believable evidences, it should be coming from the statements of the experts. It should be based on facts and statistics, and when it is a credible research finding. So let us look at the example below. So to support the claim that most of the smokers are minors, the writer uses a statistic or a survey to prove his argument. So the next one is giving a concrete, relevant, and reasonable examples. So this can enhance the writer's idea or opinion. They can be based on observations or the writer's personal experiences. What does it mean to give a concrete example? It means you are providing a precise details and specific identifying information, whether it is a place, event, person, other topic, or an institution. So relevant, so meaning does it gives a logical connection to the issue? So the last one is giving an accurate, current, and balanced information. So what does it mean to give a balanced information? So meaning you are not just presenting evidences that favors your ideas, but you are also acknowledging the evidences that opposes yours. So in order for you to convince your readers to your point of view, acknowledging the opposite idea of the topic shows wide knowledge about the issue. So that ends our lesson 1. So now let's proceed to our lesson 2. We will be talking about the modes of persuasion. So here are our objectives. So first, we should recognize the modes of persuasion in text, and the second one is we should be able to apply the use of the different modes of persuasion in formulating arguments. So think about this. How do we decide which mode of persuasion is best for a given situation? So we will learn later about the different mode of persuasion. So here are the modes of persuasion. These were introduced by the Greek philosopher, the teacher, scientist Aristotle. He taught his students 2,000 years ago that there were 3 basic ways of convincing your audience of something, or at least getting your audience to listen to what you have to say. We still use these concepts today, and you will often hear ethos, pathos, and logos referred to as the 3 modes of persuasion. So the first kind depend on the personal character of the speaker. The second one is putting the audience into a certain frame of mind, and the third on the proof or apparent proof provided by the words of the speech itself. So ethos, it is appeal to ethics. It focuses on the credibility of the writer to convince the audience. So say for example, if George Clooney, so he is a great actor, if he is going to write about the art of acting, he has ethos, meaning people know Clooney is an actor and he is good at his craft. So while if an ordinary citizen talks about the art of acting without any background from it, he is less likely to be known to their audience or to the reader. And we have to build ethos first with the audience or the reader. So let us look at this example. A child psychologist who practiced his profession for 15 years can persuade parents to act upon the behavior of their children than a mere individual who is not an expert on this field. So the second mode of persuasion is what we call pathos, which we often observed in advertising. So say for example, an advertisement of Coca-Cola. Open a Coke, open happiness. So if you want to feel happy, then a can of Coke would be an answer. So it's an appeal to emotion. So pathos also appeal to emotion and feelings, biases and prejudices, senses and motivation. Let's consider this example from the PETA ad. So PETA is a group of people who are concerned for the ethical treatment of animals, especially those animals who are used in laboratories and in the entertainment industry. So here, we can see that it is evoking an alarm, a disgust, fear, and sadness in the audience by slicing open Noah Cyrus, or aka Miley Cyrus' little sister. So here it is concerned on the dissection or dissecting animals for laboratory experiments. So the goal is to show the horror of animal dissection. So goal achieved. So the last mode of persuasion is logos. So when we read the word logos, it pertains to logic and reasoning. Logos is particularly important when trying to persuade people who know a lot about the topic you're addressing. So it is important to demonstrate strong evidence based using facts, figures, and testimony to support your conclusion. Logos is also important because it can build ethos. It can help build ethos. Consider the local theater actor who is about to speak on the craft of acting. So, there's no ethos present if the audience knows nothing about the actor. It's necessary for the actor to build ethos first before the audience to see them as credible, trustworthy, and authoritative. How does the actor build ethos? The actor could share experience of their acting career, name drop famous actors they work with, or show photos of them on stage. So that concludes the first half of our unit. To review today's discussion, we talk about persuasion in writing, in which we are taught about how to persuade our readers by using techniques like presenting strong evidence, giving a concrete, relevant, and reasonable examples, and giving accurate, current, and balanced information, and also using words and phrases that we could use in writing a persuasive text. So in the lesson 2, we talk about the three modes of persuasion, which are the character, ethos, motion, pathos, and logic or reasoning, logos. Thank you for listening.